Are we on? Are we live? I'm live. How did that happen? Okay, whatever. I'm live. Hey folks, Chuck Holton here. How's it going? I'm sitting here looking at the news, and it's, well, more and more videos coming out that show, let me pop this out here. More and more videos are coming out showing destruction happening across Iran. And yeah, if you were just on my live over at on CBN, there were like 10,000 people online. And so it was a little hard to get to all the questions and everything. So I thought I would just go live for a little bit here and answer questions as they come up. So if you have questions, how bad is the damage? Well, the videos I'm seeing are showing a lot of smoke and flames and some explosions and that sort of thing, but they're all from far away. You can imagine that it's pretty difficult to, or dangerous, I guess, to get that kind of video out. If you were to get caught sending video out like that onto the internet, probably you and your whole family would disappear inside Iran. So I just wanted to point something out real quick. At the end of that last live, hey, thank you, Alex. Can they buy an amphibious ASLT assault ship and base their F-35 planes on these ships rather than rely on only on refueling over the air? No, I don't think any of, well, okay, can they buy one? I suppose they could, but I don't think that they have had time to do that or inclination to do that so far in this war. F-35s can, do vertical takeoff, so they don't need a big aircraft carrier. The bigger question is whether or not U.S. aircraft or carriers or ships in the region would allow Israel to land and rearm on those ships. That's my question. And if they did, they wouldn't probably admit to it, but it is a possibility, okay? Crystal Roseberry says, do you think Iran will call in a favor from Russia to help them? Well, they have been. The Iranians have been calling in favors from Russia for months, and Russia has been sending equipment, flying large Antonov cargo aircraft over to Iran and dropping stuff off. We don't know exactly what they dropped off, but we're guessing that it was probably a electronic warfare system that they were hoping would jam the F-35s as they flew over, or something like that. Those systems, while they are the most technologically advanced systems that the Russians possess, and they are pretty high tech, they would have taken Russians to have to run them. You would have needed Russians to run them. They would have taken months to get Iranians up to speed to run them. And I don't think the Russians would have actually given them those electronic warfare jamming, units. I think they would have lent them to them. But that's a guess. So there are probably Russian troops in Iran, and if there are, and they are operating these jamming devices, there's a very good chance that the F-35s have already taken them out, or the SEAD, the suppression of enemy air defenses unit that the United States sent over there, might have been sent there specifically to take care of those Russian units. See, these things have never been proven in combat. Those Russian things have never been used in an actual, they haven't been used in Ukraine. There's no reason to really use them in Ukraine because until just recently, they haven't had enough planes to worry about. So I have a feeling that Russia sent a couple of units over to Tehran because they wanted to put them to the test against Western weapons and see if they were able of taking out F-35s, or at least seeing them. And I would guess that they're going to be disappointed by that. That's my. So are they going to call in a favor? Russia doesn't have a lot of favors to give. Russia has been trading some like S-300s, S-400s, something like that, that it had for some drones and missiles or something that Iran had. They've been bartering their military materiel back and forth, but yet I don't think that Russia's got a lot of extra bandwidth to come to the rescue of Iran. You know what I mean? Okay, so that was that question. Here's Jeanette Elizabeth. Will Iraq also retaliate since they're being hit as well as Syria and Iran? Iraq doesn't really have the capability to do that. Iraq, they do have a military. They don't have much in the way of an air force, and they don't have much of anything that could pose a threat to Israel. And there, of course, are U.S. troops there still. And I think that my guess is the strikes that have taken place tonight in Baghdad and in Basra were strikes pulled off by the United States under the cover of this attack by the Israelis on Iran. That's a guess. That's a speculation on my part. But I think that the United States has more things it wants to blow up in Iraq than Israel does, because we have troops there and they don't. So that's just, again, just a speculation on my part, just a guess. Okay, so isn't Russia stuff old? I'm not, is their equipment old? Day Trillion, yes, Russia's got a lot of Soviet era weaponry. They have newer stuff, but a lot of their newer stuff has already been destroyed in Ukraine. Russia has been losing tanks so fast that it's having to pull all of its very, very old museum pieces, tanks, out of storage and try to update them somewhat in the shop and then send them into the battle in Ukraine. So most of their new stuff is not being, it's already been blown up. It's already been destroyed in Ukraine, most of it. They still have some, but they don't want to get it. They're not going to be giving it away. They're not going to be selling it to anybody. They're trying to, finish this conflict in Ukraine. Question, would Turkey get involved helping Iran? No, I don't think so. Turkey is Sunni, Iran is Shia. The Turks have stood up for the Palestinians, but I think other than, the enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of thing, where, they might give some lip service to supporting Iran in this conflict, I don't think Turkey would do that. As I've mentioned before, I just really think that Turkey does not want to jeopardize its standing with NATO, and going to war against Israel would definitely jeopardize their standing. So they just wouldn't do it. Michael Mercer says, do you think they will destroy oil infrastructure on Karg Island? It seems like a one-stop shop to end most of Iran's income. I agree, 100%. I agree wholeheartedly, Michael. If Iran ends up out of this after tonight with anything functioning on Karg Island, then I'll be disappointed in what Israel decided to do. If Israel doesn't hit that, it's probably because the United States just, pushed super hard for them not to do so. But on that note, I have to say, I think it's important to point out, Israel did choose to strike 11 days before the election. that is tantamount to putting their finger on the scale for Donald Trump. This says that Israel would rather have Donald Trump as the next president of the United States. Otherwise, they would have waited until after the election, because that's what the Biden administration was asking them to do. Okay, Luann Ferraccioli asks, is there any other option for Israel in regards to getting arms, or do they have to bend the knee to the U.S.? More or less, they have to bend the knee to the U.S. because we have a lot of joint ventures where the United States and Israel are working together on things. A lot of the Iron Dome is that way. There are other places they can get weapons, but they wouldn't be compatible by and large with the weapons that Israel already possesses, and so they're probably not going to. It's not that there isn't anybody out there that would sell them weapons. It's that the people who wouldn't be selling the kind of weapons Israel wants. Overall, how do you see this changing Iran as a country? Well, CC, I guess it depends on how strong of an attack this ends up being and how long the conflict goes on, whether Iran lives up to its threats to attack every country on its borders. Because Iran said, if we get attacked by Israel, we are going to attack Azerbaijan and Saudi Arabia and Jordan and everybody. We're going to just attack everybody. And we'll see if they actually did that. I don't think they will, but we'll see. So how they end up after this is anybody's guess at this point. But there is one thing I wanted to just read to you, because this is pretty cool. There was I took a screenshot here of the chat in the live that I just finished on CBN's YouTube channel. And right at the end, after I, hit end and the chat was over, the chat box keeps going, because there's still people that are, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes behind that are watching the video. So the chat keeps going for a while, even after I leave. And one of the last things I saw come across there was a quote, a little message. I just want to read it to you because this is pretty cool. The message says this: I am Iranian. Peace be upon Netanyahu. We, the people of Iran, are hostages of the Islamic Republic. We want peace with the dear nation of Israel. Now, you might say that's a farce, that's a fake, you don't believe it, but I'm going to tell you, I believe that that is 100% legit, because I have spoken with a lot of Iranians inside Armenia, and they all tell me the same thing. We don't hate Israel. We hate our own regime. We don't want war with Israel, okay? Amir is saying the first wave took out radar and defense abilities, and now the second wave has started with much stronger attacks. Yes, Rebecca, I saw that, and that's what he is reporting. Okay, so Israel, for those of you who are just coming on, Israel is now attacking Iran as a retaliatory attack for what happened on October 1st. So here we are, 25 days later, Israel finally gets around to attacking Iran. And there are videos coming out. Amir just posted one a minute ago that shows explosions near the grave of Ruhollah Khomeini, the founder of the Islamic Republic, south of Tehran. I kind of doubt they're going to be bombing the guy's grave. I mean, he's already dead, but they've got better things to do with their their bombs right now. But there could be something else near there that they're taking out, like maybe a radar facility or something like that. Documentation of air defense systems in Tehran a short while ago. There's a lot of air defense going off. There looks like the Iranians are shooting everything they've got. Israel attacks sites used for the production of missiles and drones. There you have it, folks. There it is. So I was saying a week ago that the United States is going to go to Israel and say, look, we know you're dead set on this attack. We wish you'd wait till after the elections. But if you're going to attack Iran, we have this short list of sites we would like you to add to your targeting list. And if you'll do that, we'll support you in this attack. And that's what is just being reported now on Sky News. Israel has attacked sites for the used for the production of missiles and drones. Why? Not so much because, yes, because they want to degrade Iran's ability to produce more missiles and drones to use against Israel, but also because they want Iran to stop sending missiles and drones to Russia to be used against Ukraine. So they're seeing this as a 2-for-1. Do you understand? This is why I wanted to do this live tonight. I just did an hour-and-a-half live over on CBN. And I already did a live today on my channel. But this is why I wanted to do this live tonight. I want you to understand what an astounding opportunity this is. This is an opportunity for Israel to reshape the entire dynamic in not just the Middle East, but in the entire world. Right now, Russia is being degraded to a massive extent, to the point where they will never, ever again be a military threat to the world at large, because they've lost so many troops and they've lost so much equipment that it would take them so long to replace that stuff that they've lost in Ukraine, that by the time they do, they're not going to have the men left to man it, because Russia is in terminal demographic decline. So not only is Russia being degraded, that's one big threat to the world. Now, North Korea is sending their troops to Ukraine, and their troops are going to start getting whacked over there. And that's a 2-for-1, because not only will North Korea lose a whole bunch of its ammunition, its missiles, its drones, and things like that it's selling to Russia to use in Ukraine. So their military arsenal is being degraded, but they're also losing a bunch of soldiers, which they have millions, they don't care that. But the ones they don't lose that's the key, because the North Korean soldiers who get captured by Ukraine will, if they ever go back home to North Korea, they will know what the rest of the world looks like. You understand, most people in North Korea have no idea what the rest of the world looks like. They think the entire world is like North Korea. As a matter of fact, the North Korean government tells all the people in North Korea that North Korea is the best place on planet Earth, and that all of the other countries on planet Earth want to invade North Korea. Well, this is the first time that I know of since the Korean War that North Korean troops have gone somewhere else to fight. And so in so doing, they are going to get to see that the rest of the world is not like North Korea. It's in fact a lot better than North Korea, especially those that get captured and taken to a Western area. That's why I've been saying that they should take those captured North Korean soldiers and parade them and take them to Prague and Paris, and take them to Armenia, take them to America, and show them around and say, this is what the rest of the world looks like. Look what you're missing. Okay, now go home to North Korea and do a prisoner swap or something and send them back to North Korea. And that would cause the North Korean system to just implode. Okay? So we're getting Russia degraded, North Korea degraded, Iran is getting degraded as we speak, okay? And those are the three big threats to the world. So this is a fantastic day. This is a great thing. Yes, it's a war. Wars are not great. There are no winners in a war, but all these wars are going to definitely reduce the threats to the Western world by the big three. And that's fantastic. That's a really good thing. Okay. Now, let me see here. I'm not here to debate you, buddy boy. I know where I am coming from. Do you? I hope you're not talking to me, Richard. Let's see. Question: what can Israel hold over the U.S. to counteract the threats of the U.S. to withhold weapons to Israel? Technology? Well, maybe, Lou, maybe technology, but actually, right now, Israel has a lot of leverage against the United States because there's an election here in 11 days. And whatever Israel does is going to, in some way, shape, or form, affect that election. So that's the leverage they can use right now. After that, then I don't know. Do you think the U.S. is helping with refueling of the planes? Gary, I think they are. I don't know for sure, but we've just sent, their sky trackers shown that we've just sent a lot of aerial refueling tankers over to that region. And so that likely means that we are helping to refuel those aircraft, okay? Question, do you think Israel should hit hard and hit nuclear sites? Yes, I do think they should, but I don't think that they are just yet. If Russia's capacity to wage conventional war, will that corner them into using thermobaric bombs or tactical nukes? They have been using thermobaric bombs, Buffy, for the entire war. There's tons of videos out there of them using thermobaric weapons, but those are still limited, right? Now tactical nukes, no, I don't think that Russia is going to wage tactical nukes, because a tactical nuke is a nuke, and if they use a nuke, then nukes will be used against them, and that is the calculus that has been set up by the Western countries. Are there any Western journalists in Iran? Precious few, and if there are, you really shouldn't believe anything that they are saying, because if they were to tell you the truth about what's happening, they would be disappeared, okay? Good question, though. If it hits the fan. Do you see this as part of biblical prophecy? I'm not the expert on biblical prophecy, so I would say maybe go look at Amir Tsarfati's thing for that. I'm not going to get into biblical prophecy. Then Chuck hands out books on the collapse of America. Well, there you go. The book that I'm handing out on collapse of America is a book about how you can be prepared for the collapse of America, not just celebrating it, if that's what you mean. Have I heard anything about Russia helping to defend Iran? Other than the fact that Russia has some of its troops in Iran helping to train Iranians on Russian equipment, no, I have not heard anything about Russia doing that. So I've been to Ukraine in 2017 and studying Russia since. From a military perspective, in 2019, a missile system was accidentally recorded. Hence, the USA push on laser tech. I am not sure, Shane, what you're getting at there. Anyway, at any rate, that's not a question, so we'll keep on going. Are you going to publish your book hard copy? Yes, I'll put out a hard copy as soon as I can. I just wasn't going to get it out before the election, and I really wanted to get it in people's hands before the election. So I put it out as a digital download. Call it a pre-release copy, and enjoy. But there will be hard copies on Amazon here shortly. It's like I got too many things to take my time right now. Somebody says we're in Daniel chapter 2, okay? Can Congress override Biden and Harris to give Israel weapons? Theoretically, yes, they can. And they did, I think, because they were, withholding some weapons, and then Congress got involved and made them unwithhold those weapons, my understanding. Do you think we will see a decapitation attack? From what I can tell so far, they have been hitting some government buildings. They've been hitting some ministry buildings and stuff like that. But they've already said that it's not off the table. That they blame Iran for the attack on Benjamin Netanyahu's house last week that actually struck his house and caused some damage. And so Israel has been saying, you tried to take out our premier, that makes your premier fair game. Okay, yeah, please hit that like button, folks, and go over to chuckholton.com and get the book. You have to be a subscriber to do that. And just, you're going to want that book. You're going to want to be prepared in the next 11 days, trust me. Do I think the leak of Israel's plans came from Austin since he had just visited? No, they believe it came from a woman in the Biden administration who is hardcore leftist, anti-Israel, pro-Hamas lady. And everybody knew that and still let her have a super secret security clearance. And she was able to get those plans that Israel had put out about its, targeting and stuff, and it put them out. Apparently, there were 2 separate leaks, and the second leak was just yesterday. And I don't know if it was from that same lady. I don't think so. But the second leak put out that Israel had been planning to conduct this strike on the 18th of October, and they delayed it because of the leaks. So that's all I know about that. How do you decide between evacuating or staying during a civil unrest? My wife and I are in an apartment near Atlanta, Georgia, concerned about rioting and looting. I would recommend, just off topic, Yo-Yo Pro John, that if you are near an area where there may be a loss of civility, and Atlanta certainly qualifies, I would make plans to go visit some relatives, take a vacation, get out of Dodge for at least a few days to a week around the election. Because if Donald Trump wins, there will be unrest. And if you're in a semi-urban area, there's a good chance that you could be caught up in that. Now, if you don't have the money to get out, or if you don't have any place to go, then you're going to want to just prepare by going through the checklists in the book on how to harden your house, how to take stock of your security in your home and look at your liabilities and assets, and then beef up your home security and just hunker down and try to ride it out. But believe me, if he wins, it's not going to be a short-term thing. There will be localized or even generalized violence around the country for probably the entirety of his stay in the White House. Soon the stone cut out without hands will strike the image. Okay, somebody's quoting scripture. Let's see. Let's start back to the beginning. Israel is attacking Iran as we speak in a apparently very massive strikes. There are also strikes in Damascus and in Iraq. We don't exactly know what is being struck there, but it has, something to do with it for sure. No, it wasn't AOC that did the leak. It was another, mop-headed liberal lady. I think she's in the defense establishment. I could be wrong about that. Let's see if I can find her picture real quick. But it wasn't AOC. Is it true that Israel is at fault for this seven front war because they killed 20,000 Gaza civilians? Mrs. P. Lopez, get real. Israel didn't kill any civilians in Gaza that weren't actively attacking them before October 7th. October 7th of last year, thousands of Gazans came into Israel and looted and raped and pillaged and, killed like 1,200 people. So anything that happens after October 7th last year is the fault of Hamas, because there was a ceasefire on October 6th. So no, it's not Israel's fault. That's a ridiculous question. Okay, I'm going to see if I can find this chick's picture and read to you what we know about her. I saw it back here in my list. I got to back way up, though. That was a little ways. Yeah, okay. Top Iranian Pentagon aide keeps her security clearance despite the accusation of spying for Tehran. This was in the New York Post. And I'm trying to see if I can find her name. Where was that other picture? Oh, here she is. Ariane Tabatabai? Ariane Tabatabai was her name. And she was invited to Saudi Arabia, and she emailed and asked Revolutionary Guards officer Mostafa Zahrani, I would like to know your opinion. Would you be interested in this? So this is a Pentagon aide who is being, it's claimed, she's the one who leaked the information. D. Bowden says, does Israel have the weapons that can take out Iran's nuclear capabilities? Probably not. Those nuclear facilities are dug so deep underground, they're literally dug underneath 11,000-foot mountains. There's no bunker buster on planet Earth that can go through an 11,000-foot mountain. They could probably collapse the entrance to some of the tunnels, but those are fairly easily fixed or cleared out, and it's not going to likely, affect that. But that said, they could go after the power grid because those centrifuges need power, and they could. There are other things like that that are sort of ancillary to the actual nuclear program that could put a stop to the nuclear program for the time being, and that's what they ought to be doing. Okay. Now, let me just look here on. Okay, Hanyana Naftali is documenting some of the videos and photos coming out of Iran. They're saying that there was air raid sirens that went off at the American base at the airport in Erbil in northern Iraq. So that's likely just due to Hashishabi, or the Iranian-backed militias that are in that area that have used the airport in Erbil for target practice because of this ongoing attack in Iran. That'd be my guess. So let's see what else we got here. Right, so Will Sims says, bunker buster, GBU 57 Alpha Bravo can penetrate up to 200 feet of earth or 60 feet of concrete. So if their nuclear sites are under several thousand feet of rock, you're not going to do much to them. Does Israel have access to the Moab, the mother of all bombs, a fuel-air explosive? I don't know. But if they did, those are bombs that are meant to be used against troops. They're not really great against, they're not as great against structures and things like that, but they could, I guess they could, they used them in Tora Bora. So, collapsing tunnels might be a good use for some of those. All right, so let's see here. Will the lady who sent out the leaks be tried for treason? Well, they're saying she may not even lose her security clearance. Now, if Donald Trump gets into office, that will probably change, but she should definitely be tried for, being a foreign asset, for sure. Okay, yeah, Moab hasn't been used a lot. They're very, very large. They're fuel-air explosives. So what they do is they put out a cloud of fuel vapor that, spreads out over a wide area and then detonates, and it causes a vacuum to occur with all of that fuel going up at once that sucks all the air around it in, and that's what creates the explosive force. That's a very, very powerful explosion. So Myra asks what's happening. Israel is attacking Iran as a retaliation for the Iranian attacks on Israel on October 1st. And do we know of the damage in Iraq yet? Not really. we don't know. All we're seeing are just some preliminary reports that there were. Let's talk about the places that are being struck. Okay, the places that I see being struck are Shiraz, and Shiraz has a military base, an air base. It's has facilities for the IRGC, several training bases and facilities like that. And they have telecommunications and cyber infrastructure in Shiraz. They're known for hosting some of Iran's critical telecommunications. And they're near the Zagros Mountains, which has strategic positions that can look down on the Straits of Hormuz. There's also electronic warfare and research centers in Shiraz, and some key transportation and logistics routes. So that's one of the places we know is being struck tonight, and they're likely going after a lot of those things that I just mentioned, right? Now, the nuclear program is, they have one at Natanz. That's their main uranium enrichment site. It's a highly fortified underground facility. And again, if they were going to take that out, they'd probably have to go after it via a cyber attack or some other sabotage of the power grid or something like that. They have a fuel enrichment plant built deep within a mountain near Qom up in the north. There's an Iraq heavy water reactor, which was intended, was capable of producing plutonium, but it was modified under the JCPOA, Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. That's the nuclear deal that Obama made to limit its potential for producing weapons-grade plutonium. We don't really know if they're actually following that, though. There's an Isfahan uranium conversion facility in Isfahan. There's a research reactor in Tehran. There's a Parchin military complex, which is not primarily a nuclear site, but it's been suspected of hosting nuclear weapons-related research and explosives testing. So that's in Parchin. Then Lashkar Abad is a site that's been associated with other experiments and advanced centrifuge designs. That's kind of an ancillary target, and a couple of others. So your question, will Israel hit nuclear facilities in Iran without U.S. approval? Stephen, probably not. They probably would only do so if they got approval from the United States. Okay? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to remove your message there. I was just trying to unpin it. Sorry about that. Okay. Yeah, Susan King says they just promoted Ariana Tavatabi. I can't say her name. Okay, I was looking for any other questions. I'm getting notifications, Iran, Syria, Iraq hit. That's correct. And those hits have come along with, there have been a few strikes from Hezbollah on Israel tonight. The last ones was about an hour ago in Shlomi, which is over in the western part near the coast. So that's what we've got, folks. But like I said, I believe that this is a tremendous opportunity. Iran is being degraded. Russia is being degraded, and North Korea is being degraded. All of these are very, very good things for the world at large. Russia will never be a threat to the world again in terms of a conventional military force. Even if the war just stopped right now, they cannot rebuild it. They have killed off too many of their young men, and they're not replacing them. They're not having babies in Russia, and they're in terminal decline. So Russia is pretty much off the table as a conventional military threat around the world after 3 years of war in Ukraine. Now, North Korea is getting them some of that. Good for them. And again, that will likely not go well for North Korea in any way. And Iran is now seeing its capabilities degraded. And let's hope that whatever Israel chooses to do tonight will be powerful enough that it will lead to the downfall of the evil Iranian regime. All right, that's all I got. I wasn't going to spend too much time on it, half an hour, but I went 41 minutes. So God bless you all. Thank you very much for being on the Hot Zone. And somebody did ask about the book. The books that I suggest you read are go to chuckholton.com, become a supporter, $7, and then you can download the PDFs, or I'll send you, if you ask the Kindle EPUBs, you can, if you know how to do that, you can read it on Kindle. But the book is about how to help you be prepared to keep you and your family safe in the new America that we are seeing take shape before our eyes, okay? So I suggest that you read that. And if you go to church, I recommend you get that book, The Grace Project. It's on my website as well, and only on my website. Again, these are not physical copies of books that you can hold in your hand. They're digital downloads only right now. Eventually, there will be a hard copy that you can get from Amazon or someplace. But right now, it's just a digital download because I finished the manuscript. I wanted to get it directly to you as quickly as possible and let you make use of it before the elections, okay? So, random irrelevant question, were you always a journalist? No, I was I was an Army Ranger. Then I flew helicopters in the National Guard. Then I went to college, and then I became a stockbroker for 10 years. Then I became a full-time writer, and out of that, I got asked to do some journalism and eventually moved into being a full-time journalist. So that's my story. If you want to know more about my story, you can get my book, Making Men, or A More Elite Soldier. I have 10 books in print, and you can get all of them on Amazon.com or wherever you get books. Just search for my name, Google my name. You'll find all my books available. More Elite Soldier is about my time in the military. Making Men is about my attempts to raise my sons to be good men and how I had to go through that process myself and figure out what a good man actually was before I could teach it to my sons. And then my most recent book is called Prowess, which is just answering all the questions I got from guys after they read Making Men. And my book Bulletproof is about how to overcome fear and have a bulletproof mindset. So, and there's more, but I'll stop with that. You can find all those wherever books are sold. All right. Thank you very much for watching. God bless you. And I hope to see you again soon. Take care. How do I stop streaming now? Right, like this. No, I'm going to end stream here. Okay.